Hello, sinners, and hail Sappho. It's your hostess with the mostest, Narcissa DeVille, and welcome to another art video. I have been having so much fun with these, and I'm really excited about this because this is my redo for Crowley and Aziraphale. The last time I did this, it was such a fail for me. And I've talked about that. I don't really know what happened. Well, no, I do know. That's not true. I know exactly why it happened. But it was so frustrating for me, and I couldn't leave it be. I could not leave it just where it was without doing anything to it. So I decided I am going to do a part two, a redemption, if you will. And so I decided to paint over the original pores and just start from scratch. So that is what you are seeing. This is the redemption redo of first Crowley. I think one of the biggest things that I did right with this is that I limited the color scheme a little bit. In the original one, I was really trying to add the yellow for his eyes, and I think that just created such a muddiness that I did not care for. And I think this doing just like the black and the red and the dark blue and white, I think created a really fun effect. I think it kind of looks like a universe, a nebula, and something about it just really, really works. And then you'll see with Aziraphale, I did kind of the same thing where I limited the colors that I was using. So I had originally two shades of brown, like a very dark brown and a light brown. And I decided what I wanted to do this time around was I just used a brown that I had lightened, and then this color here that's like a slate gray is what it's called, which is kind of like a pinky gray. I don't know why or what it is, but the slate gray really added something just major to this. And then you've got that darker brown, you've got that light blue. I think altogether it really combined to make a really cool effect. I kind of feel like the finished product almost looks like something that like a painting that you would find on the Sistine Chapel. Like it feels almost Renaissance, if I may. Something about it just looks so fucking cool and gorgeous. And I do think, one of the major factors for both of these was the colors that were used. But I also think part of what I did right this time around was my pouring medium. I think getting that right was the best thing that I did for myself. When I originally created these, I did not have the proper mixture of like paint to pouring medium. I was just starting out with this new pouring medium. It was too thick, and so it was creating these weird effects that I didn't like. Whereas with this one, I've learned how to kind of calculate it better and add more water. And as you can see, this is the painting dry. This is Crowley's. I really, really like how this turned out. What I ended up doing for these that I'm really, really like love is I ended up going with just kind of accents. So you'll see in a minute, I started with Aziraphale. I decided not to do like, the wings and the halo and all that. I decided to do just gold accents with Aziraphales. There was all of these like natural line formations within the paint that just somehow called out to needing like a little gold filigree. And so that's what I ended up doing. So there's a few white spaces on this that I filled in with gold. And then there's like this kind of just different spaces that I added this like filigree to that I just really, really love. I don't know how to describe it, but you can see there's like kind of all these almost cracks, I guess you would call them. And what's funny is that is like a thing in acrylic pour art of like, if it dries wrong, it can crack and look, you know, quote unquote bad. But I don't know. I feel like in this particular case adds something to it. It adds to this whole effect of like it just adds to the whole effect of like the Sistine Chapel painting. Just something about it. It feels right for it to have all these cracks in it. And so deciding to kind of emphasize them and filling them up a little bit in gold. Not all of them, because I think that would have taken absolutely forever, but at least filling, a few of them up in gold, I think was really a good decision on my part. I think it looks so uniquely interesting. I feel like filling up the white space in gold really added something as well. And I really think that following like the natural line formations that came about made such a huge difference. And I love the finished product. I love how this came out. It's so interesting to me, and I love the way it turned out. And I think, again, art is always about making these choices and deciding to do something that maybe isn't going to make sense to everyone, but it has to make sense to you, and that's what's most important. So yeah, I decided to kind of fill in these white spaces and these cracks with this gold paint that I have, because I really didn't do like in the original version. I mixed gold into the paint, and I didn't like how it kind of like splattered and just didn't look right. So for this one, I kind of wanted to use the gold sparingly and like very specifically. And I feel like this was really what I was wanting for Crowley and Aziraphale. You know what I mean? Like, whereas I feel that the first version didn't live up to my expectations, and I'm going to add like the comparison of like the sort of before and after, so you can see them side by side and say, okay, look, this is the original Crowley, this is the original Aziraphale. Like, you can see very clearly where I went wrong with these. But I think that I don't know how to say, like, it's just I really, really enjoy these. I really love how they came out. I did them a lot more minimalist than I ever expected, but I think it works. So I'm very, very proud of these. Thank you so, so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, you can like, comment down below, subscribe to my channel for more art. You can also subscribe to my special Instagram just for art, which is DeVille Worship Arts. That will be linked down below. You can become a member of my channel. We have two tiers, the Our Side tier and the Ineffable tier. The Our Side tier does get early access and some behind the scenes content. You can also become a member of my Patreon, patreon.com/NarcissaDeVille. And yeah. And until next time, stay devilish and see you next Tuesday.